One of the most important things to help you progress as a mandolin player is to recognize shapes and patterns on the fingerboard. And I want to talk to you about a really important shape today. I call it the magic shape. Now, if you're a beginner, you've probably played this particular chord here. This is a G chord. Did you notice that the same shape can be moved over one string, and now this is a C chord? Now, if you're careful, you can move it one more place. You can make it into an F chord. Now, the reason I said careful is because we can't use this first string. That's not part of just the regular old F chord. And what I do is I kind of mute that first string with the inside of my first finger. So I've got this same shape and I can make three different chords with it. Here's the G, here's the C, here's the F. Let's look a little closer at how this chord is constructed and why it works the way it does. So I call this a magic shape because it's just, you're going to see this shape in a lot of other chords. We already showed you three. We're going to find some more too. But the way this chord is structured is this first finger, so I'm on my G chord. The second finger is on the third fret of the first string. And the first string is your highest pitched string. This particular note on the G chord is the root of the G chord, or a G note. The other part of the magic shape is your first finger, and that's on string 2, fret 2, like this. So that's just two notes, and we really need a third note to complete, to have it be a regulation chord. So we've got the root and the third, and if we put the fifth in there, we've got the three notes we need to make a chord. So I can just hit strings 3, 2, and 1, and I've got a complete G chord. This extra note down here, that happens to be another G. So we've got G, D, B, G. Now, the cool thing about this chord is that anywhere I put it, the second finger or the higher pitched note of the pair is going to be the root. The lower pitched note of the pair is going to be the third. So here I've got the same shape. Now my root is on the second string, third fret. My third is on the third string, second fret. And this chord note down here in the chord, that completes it. That's the fifth. If I played the first string open for a 4-string chord, that's going to give me another E on top. So going from top to bottom, or highest pitch to lowest pitch, I've got E, C, E, G. Sometimes on the mandolin, we double up on our notes. It makes the mandolin sound the way it does. We don't have to do that. We're mandolin players. We can do whatever we want. Let me show you another chord that magic shape shows up in. And this is the 4-string closed position version of the A chord. Here our magic shape is played by the 4th finger and the 3rd finger. Now, your first finger here has to do double duty. It has to play the 3rd string and the 4th string. So I've got a 4-string chord. The cool thing about a closed position chord is that I can move it up and down the fingerboard. The reason I couldn't do that with a G, the regular magic shape G, is because now all of these 4 notes are in the G chord. If I move it up a half a step or 1 fret, that doesn't sound good because these 2 notes are not in this chord. When we moved up these 2 fingers, we didn't move these open string notes. Now, if we have a closed position chord where all the notes are played, we can move this baby anywhere we can reach. And that's amazing because with the same shape, we're going to get probably 8, 9, or 10 chords depending on how far you can reach on your mandolin. For example, I move this A up, I get B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, and so on. If I go back to my A, I can move it down 1 fret to A flat. So that's amazing. You got one shape and you're making all these different chords. Well, there's more. So we just moved this basic shape. Again, I've got the magic shape here. In this case, before we did it with fingers 1 and 2, I'm doing it with 3 and 4 here. Again, the fourth finger, or the highest pitched note, is the root of the chord. So wherever that is, that names the chord. If that's playing a C, then the chord is a C. This third finger is playing the third of the chord. In this case, since it's an A chord, it's a C sharp note. These two notes, on the third string, 2nd fret, I'm playing an E. That's the 5th of the A chord. And the low note here, that's another A. Okay, so another thing I can do is move it across the fingerboard like this. If I just move one string down, a little easier to see that way. Now I only am covering one string and 1 fret, 1 note with that first finger because I don't have another string down there. If I had another string down there, I could do it. If you have a 5-string mandolin, you can do it. Okay, and the other thing is now, like before, my 4th finger is holding down 1 note. But what do I do with this one, this first one? Well, in this case, with this chord, whatever it is, that first string open won't work with it because it's not part of that chord. Well, what is that chord? That chord is a D major. And my finger here is fretting a D note on the 2nd string, 5th fret. That's a D note. And this is an F sharp note on the 3rd string, 4th fret. And down here on the 4th string, 2nd fret, with my first finger, I'm playing an A note. So that gives us the complete, this is root, 3rd, 5th. So I've got a complete chord there. That first string is an E, if it's open, and that doesn't fit in the chord. So again, I'm going to have to mute that like I did on my F chord before. So this is a 3-string chord, but it's a closed position chord, and thus it's movable up and down the fingerboard. This is really cool. If I move this down a half step, 1 fret, now I've got a D flat chord. Go back to my D, I've got a D chord. Move it up a half step, I've got an E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, and on up as far as I can reach. So with this one basic magic shape, we were able to make 8, 9, or 10 chords, depending on what we could reach, on a full 4-string chord. Then we moved this over, and we got another 8, 9, 10, maybe even 11. And just by moving this up and down like this, we get to different frets, and we really get a lot of mileage out of this one basic position. It's a little different because this is a 4-string chord and this is a 3-string chord. But the theory still works, and we can get these useful chords all over the fingerboard. Chords you thought you'd never be able to make, like B flat and E flat and A flat and D flat. They're really easy to make. So this thing is really starting to snowball and give us a real huge range of chords just by looking at this little magic shape, which you're going to find. Now we just went through a couple of shapes, but you're going to find it in a whole bunch of shapes as you look at chords on the mandolin. It keeps coming up again and again and again. You'll see this shape, or you'll see some modified version of it. It helps if you can relate it all back to this magic shape. Okay, so long.